All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital. This is the weekly check-in for book number one, Foundational Trading Q&A session. It is March 13th, 2024. And we are located here in session number 10. March 13th, we're looking at pages 297, or I'm sorry, 295 to 303. We're in section 13. And we're looking at 10 featured traders. These are guys that have taken all of the materials from sections 1 through 12 and personalized it. They've turned it into systems and psychology and techniques that have improved their own trading process. In some cases, their businesses, some cases, their entire outlook on life, and have become professional in the way that they trade. Some of them are full-time professional traders for themselves. Some of them are full-time professional traders for others, pro money managers. Some of them are simply trading professionally with a portion of their time as it fits into their life. And so we're going to get a chance to look at 10 different traders tonight and how they've managed to do that. First things first, I do want to just say, hey, the reason we're going over this stuff is so that we can do things like this. So this is an intraday sniper trade. This happens to be in Alcoa, one of our prime trading targets. It's on a 1-minute chart. Here's where the last 30 minutes of yesterday closed, right along the volume weighted average price in a very tightly compressed sideways quiet channel. And today there was a gap up, and that's what the first minute bar looks like right there. This yellow box right here is what we call the minimum manageable risk box. It's 1/10 of the range stat, which, as you know, is the maximum reasonable intraday move. That's how far it can move before it becomes abnormal, and this represents 1/10 of that. After establishing that opening range, it kept going. It moved more than one risk box off the low of the day. That's the low of the day. So, as is my case, I just speculate in with one standard unit of risk. That thing immediately runs up this high, which is 1, 2, 3R in hand in 1 minute, and then starts rolling down. And so I was able to exit with +1. So I ended up slopping away 2. Had 3, kept 1. Not especially efficient, but not unusual for the opening range. Then about 3 minutes later, it gave me one of our standard entries, a standard re-entry, I should say. It moved 1, 2, 3 with 2 higher lows, and it broke above the second bar's high. That makes this what we would call a 1, 2, 3 re-entry. I used the same standard risk box and the same standard position size that I used over here. And then it starts moving straight up. By this time, now I'm 2 minutes into that trade, and I'm holding 1.5 R. So what I do is I simply make sure that I move my initial stop, which was here. I just move that up above my entry, which was at the green dot, so that I've locked in this certain little wedge, which we call no lose plus dinner for two, meaning that if at any time after this, if that price were to fall down here and hit my stop, then the worst thing that could happen is that I make $100. So that's a psychological state that's really powerful. It turns out that it didn't. It just kept going up and up. Now you notice, as I noticed, that there are three chances it had to go higher and it didn't. And the RL10, which is our proxy for price, instead of going straight up, has started to turn over. When it turns over, I make sure that my stop, wherever it may have been in here, I raise my stop from the PSAR up to the edge of the dragon, which is this 10-period Bollinger Band plus or minus half, the upper skin, the spine, and the lower skin, and I put my stop there so that, again, the worst thing that's going to happen to me now is that I'm going to make this much from my entry. And when you compare that risk against that reward, I'm holding at worst 3R. And shortly thereafter, I get that exit for 3R. So in about 15 minutes in Alcoa, one of our prime routine trading targets, we make 4R. So we're just doing routine things routinely. Now, there may be some more room in that one today, because after this nice tight range compression, you're starting to see range expansion, 1, 2 legs up. You see the Bollinger Band mean, which is the 30-period simple moving average, is continuing to go. You see the PSAR and the dragon are pulling away from it. You notice that the orange line, the volume weighted average price, is going well. That means there's positive buying pressure. So I'm going to stay with Alcoa until it stops going up, because it's one of the exceptional movers. So we've got 4R in hand and we have a live one. So we like that. That's doing routine things routinely. Well, here's another one. This one is on 3-minute charts, also a sniper trade. And this is where it closed yesterday, right here. And then today it opened here. And then in the opening range 3 minutes, it established that orange box as the opening 3-minute range, which means if I'm using the OR3 entry technique in one of our prepared targets, I'm ready to go long if it breaks out higher than the high of the opening range 3, or go short below the low of the opening range 3 and use this range in here as a neutral zone. That's a reasonable risk box, unless that opening range 3 was so large that I can actually get away with my standard risk box, which is this one right here. It turns out that that opening range 3 was so large and volatile that I could actually get a 1R risk box of this size. And since it's going up, I get long and my initial stop is here. So we just start managing that trade. Oh, within about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, it fails, and that's about a minus 0.7. So we just take that exit. Let's just take a 1R loss. And continue to trade. Oh, it reverses. Now, this is what we would call a Kata 2 reentry, because we have the RL10 made a high, a higher low, and then resumed higher. And when it crosses the VWAP and the dragon, that's good. And it's challenging the high of the day. That's good. So we end up getting our entry right here. And we call that a Kata 2 entry. And you should know that because in a couple weeks, Griff and Phil are teaching the Kata 2 challenge course, in which we give you a multi-week course in its 6th iteration of how to trade this Kata 2 pattern. And this trade's going to show you why you might be interested in that. So we get our standard risk box and standard stop. And then I'm just setting up, this is a price level of this high is +1R. This one is +2. That one would be +3. At the 2R battle drill, then I'm going to make sure that not only am I at no lose plus dinner for 2, but I'm thinking about a second position. So we have this calibrated for all of our standard trades. It makes a nice recovery and then takes off. So I put the second position on at the green dot because I have 2R in hand and momentum, and I can use market's money to make that entry. And there's my 4R. That's my next checkpoint. It just keeps going up. Awesome. I have momentum. I'll put a third position on. Awesome. I have a fourth position on. At this moment, what I have on my first trade, trade number 1, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6R in hand. This has 4R in hand. That has 2R in hand. So at this moment, as I make my fourth entry, I'm holding 12R with momentum, and it's still early. By the time it moves that far above my fourth entry, my stop had better be somewhere up around in here, so that even the fourth entry is in the money. So if this is an additional R right here, that extra +1R is on 4 positions. So that means I'm holding 16R, and the rest is a simple matter of programming. By the time we get the standard exit on this, when the PSAR, which was our guide the whole way up, by the time we get this exit, we get out of all 4 positions. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. This one is +9, +7, +5, and +3. That's what a 24R trade looks like On a 3-minute chart in EWW, one of our prime COTA2 and intraday targets, that's the ETF for Mexico, which is the largest emerging market in the world, has its own currency, has a futures contract, has a robust economy with multiple industrial and financial and technology sectors, and it moves independently of the S&P 500, Europe, and Asia. So that makes it ideal for the kind of intraday and swing trading that we do. And it has a very large signal to noise ratio, meaning that it makes directional moves in which, if you looked at a standard daily bar, it would have a large body, which is directional, opens here, closes there, and small wicks. That's how much the retracement is. So large signal to small noise means it makes directional moves greater than most of the other ETFs and companies that are out there. And it does this both intraday and on swing trades. And it has a large volatility percentage, meaning that the absolute value of the size on a percentage basis is large. So that makes EWW Mexico, much like EWZ Brazil, what we call champions, because they are routinely great. So that's what 24R looks like. I wish you were trading with us so that you could do that too, because being a large country index, there's all kinds of liquidity in it. There's plenty of room for everybody to trade that. Among the things that we do to prepare is that we understand the important statistics of its characteristic moves. Like EWW has a 13-cent, or I round that up to 15 cents on the R10, which is the 1/10 of the range stat. So it will make a $1.26 move before it becomes abnormal. This is what a range stat move looks like. That's what a $1.26 looks like. And you'll notice that the move from here to there, once you put the baseline here and run this up, that is a range stat move. That's not even an abnormally large move. What makes it a great move was the fact that once it started going, it never really looked back. It doesn't always do that. Most of the time it doesn't do that. But it does that often enough that it makes us always ready to trade Mexico and Brazil and a dozen other symbols that we teach in our course. So I wanted to share that with you. I also know that for tomorrow, because this is very near a 10-day high, the reward to risk ratio is not favorable for swing trading. But if it does break above its mechanical entry, which is computed at 67.28, that's 5 cents above today's high. So if it breaks above that, we would be ready to go long instantly. And we could use for swing trading either a 94-cent or a 31-cent risk, depending on how active you want it to be and how aggressive. On the intraday, I can actually even take a 13 or a 15-cent risk like this. And when it never looks back, that's how you get large R multiples. So I wanted to share that with you. After I review the featured traders with you today, we're going to do 10 trader profiles. I'm going to give you a little essay that we wrote today. I wrote it for one who I notice is in the room tonight about transitioning to full-time trading, and I want to make that available to all of you. I like the essay. And then next week, I will be open to answering your questions about your personal steps going forward. Some of those planning factors are included in pages 305 and 306. While we're here, let me just cover that essay first, because I actually think that's pretty important. So this is uploaded in the lesson online in the workshop for you. So when considering a change of profession to become a full-time market trader, there's a number of planning considerations that a working professional should take into account. And that's going to be the key word, professionalism. We think that's our edge. Number one, assess your passion for trading. You got to make sure that you've got enough joy so that you can put up with the daily grind of learning to trade and it doesn't become a burden. You need education. You need a financial cushion so that you're properly capitalized, so that you're not under economic pressure to be successful fast in order to support yourself while you're making a transition into a new profession. The number one thing that you got to be ready to do is manage risk. Otherwise, none of the rest of the stuff is going to matter. But that should be first, last, everything. A trading plan that is substantially back tested and forward tested, as we talked in some of these earlier lessons, starting small and scaling up with markets money, managing your emotions with the zero state and learning to leverage your emotions in your trading rather than hiding from them or trying to control them. So managing and accounting for doesn't mean negating them or stopping them or controlling. It simply means adapting to them. Engaging in continuous learning. And so your trading plan is not the end of your learning, it's the start. And that trading plan actually has to have a learning plan in it. That's why we believe in after action reviews. You need a network of trusted others. You've got to have physical and mental health so that you can manage the stress, manage the risk, and be healthy for your family and yourself. Cultivating discipline through systems thinking and accountability and commitment in order to stick to your trading plans and rules. Being adaptable in the market, which is really connected to your continuous learning. If you think about your ability to learn, it's really your ability to adapt to new knowledge, changing your behavior to account for and respond to things that you learn. And trading systems are really how you learn from the market about what to do. So adaptability is going to be essential in your psychology and in the construction of your systems. Record keeping, because we are going to be evidence-based. You're going to understand all of the regulatory compliance constraints of whatever your chosen markets and infrastructure require. You're going to pick a professional trading platform and be proficient with it. You're going to understand what leverage does, how much it costs, and how you can sensibly use it. You're going to be realistic in your expectations. You're always going to start trades with the exit strategy known to include your business plan, when to exit the trade, when to exit the business. Having clear criteria and rules. Maintaining a long-term perspective so that you're there to fully realize your edge. And then if you were simply just to consult professionals who, authors, traders, and psychologists who have written on the subject of career change for professionals, not just traders, but all professionals, you'd realize from Napoleon Hill, for example, clear vision and persistence, Soros and Buffett talk about understanding your strengths and weaknesses, as well as rigorous analysis and emotional discipline. Psychologists talk about appreciating the cognitive biases that are at play inside of you and which get exploited by market forces, and how those can affect decision making, information gathering, and your psychology, and making sure that the significant life changes that you're making don't fall prey to those cognitive biases. The importance of personal circumstances, market conditions, and sometimes an element of luck and timing. And you want to make sure that you've got professionals on your team, advisors, coaches, insurance, accountants, lawyers, to make sure that you've got a properly constructed professional team to help you make that transition. It can be done. But if you're not willing to do these things, how good is your plan? How good is your expectation? Or are you reacting to impulses? So hopefully that'll shed some light on how a professional looks at career changes. All right, let's shift over to our notes. So here's our Cornell modified note sheet, thanks to Griff. We're in session 10, March 13th, book 1. A lot of information contained in just 9 pages. So we're looking at featured traders. And this is really my teaching philosophy, that if you're a teacher, show me your students. So here's some guys I want to highlight. Trader number 1. Successful software company executive, still is. We agreed that the right verb to describe his behavior was dabbling for 15 years before he started getting serious. When he finally committed to being professional, he did it by focusing on one symbol at a time, and he did live bar by bar trading in public on camera with me for a year. And he did that with day trading, and then expanded into swing trading, and then continued to work on swing trading, which was really more of what he was looking for, rather than the 3-minute charts of pure day trading. He wanted to do swing trading. And in fact, his interest in swing trading caused us to develop the 30-minute hybrid swing trading that you see me doing every night in the nightly strategy meeting, because we felt like the things that he learned during day trading allowed him to swing trade on a faster time frame without having to be totally focused on 1 and 3-minute charts. And it turns out that the one symbol at a time, live bar by bar in public on camera, was exactly the kind of pressure cooker and motivation and discipline that he needed to break through and become professional. And this meant that he was documenting his trade setups and decision making and getting feedback from me, his coach, in public in front of an audience of over 20 traders on camera for the record. This full transparency in public, the commitment to doing that, helped him develop the thick skin necessary to endure the pressure of uncertainty and anxiety, which is what you find in the best trade setups. And by that, I mean, if you have a harsh winter sell-off and it terminates in a doji, we love that as a trade setup. It's a maximum pain range compression, and therefore the breakout from that is a coin flip. It's a 50-50 trade. And the move out of that compressed range is going to be large. Well, trading in public as he's learning on film was one way that he learned to handle uncertainty and anxiety. And when that became easy and normal, it made the stress of trading easier. So that's good practice. So he then shifted to long-term swing trading, which was better for his family and business, and he was posting weekly trade frames over the weekends in the same way. He stayed true to what he was doing. What changed was the time frame and hammering out the same kinds of rules that would work for swing trading as worked for him on the day trading. He then did an annual write-up for one of our research weekends, which is about a 45-minute presentation about how he went through all of this transition into what I consider to be full-time professional trading, but swing trading as a support to his already busy schedule as a team leader and a software company executive. So he's made the full successful transition to that. Teaching his kids how to do what he's doing too. And he's committed to a family coaching and mentoring plan with me. So I can provide some help and guidance to his kids. Sometimes it's easier to hear it from somebody else than your own dad. Trader number 2, I think of as the grinder. He's a professional accountant, mid-40s, and he had no prior trading experience. He took our foundations course and used that to get a broad sense of the different styles and opportunities that we teach to see which of those best resonated with him, because he had no prior experience, and so he wanted to sample from an array. He also decided to trade one symbol and one pattern intraday, and also committed to documenting his journey in public. He ended up taking over 2,000 trades in 1 year live with real money, each one marked up with the lessons that he learned and anticipating his coach's commentary. So he would mark up his chart, do his little write-up on it, what he thought about it, and then he added what he thought I was going to say, and then he waited for me to coach him, and then I would say some things, and then he would compare what he thought to what I thought. And then from that, he learned to improve his own self-coaching. And he did that in public every night for a year. And in those nightly check-ins, he was getting 5 to 10 minutes of personalized guidance in our public coaching room on film, and we have all that recorded. And what he learned prepared him to trade now in multiple time frames with a much higher level of risk or capital. He went from working 90 plus hours a week as a CPA to investing his time into living a better life with his family, still running his business, but he's offloaded a bunch of that. And importantly, his wife was a full voting member on his support team throughout that whole process. His journey is also documented as part of our annual research weekend, so you can see what the outcome of a serious professional effort by professionals actually looks like. I'm going to skip over to trader number 5. He was a professional educator for the U.S. Army and a former military officer with a PhD in economics. And once I educated him out of modern portfolio theory, I helped him improve his process for intraday trading with Forex. He liked Forex trading because it was good for his timelines and time management and his family life. After I worked with him on his Forex strategies, he more than doubled his performance, and he taught himself to program in order to turn his Forex trading systems into semi and fully automated robotic trading. And he's got a users group that looks at how to automate Forex scripts for his little robots that trade on hourly charts 6 days a week in Forex pairs. And I helped him develop a course, and I support him in teaching that course and have helped him with coaching. So they are open. They're a private group, but they are open to people that might be interested, and I'd be happy to make an introduction. At the same time, after he's done that, he was able to make the transition to full-time trading in his retirement stress-free. He was able to leave the Army college where he taught with me and reduce about 90% of his stress, and really helped increase his peace of mind. And he left behind the trivialities of being an academic for the Army, which I fully understand. And he's able to devote himself to taking care of his family. So we worked together to develop a home study course for his Forex trading as a way to refine his specific rule set, because one of the ways that you really learn your own rules is by turn it into a course and teach others. It forces you to really become masterful, which we learned from Robert Gardner, rest in peace, who used to say that the only way to know exactly what all the rules of your system are is to try and teach it to someone else and watch what they do. And then once you've done that, you can then turn that into a trading robot, which both Trader 5 and Trader 2 are doing. Trader 9, a professional money manager for the last 35 years, one of our original members. He sits on my board of directors as one of my senior advisors and mentors. He only works with high net worth people, very high net worth people. He and I are active together in a small research community of practice where we get a chance to do back testing and strategy development that's geared for large position sizes that have longer holding periods. He's got to work anonymously because of compliance concerns, but he's an important member of our team. And it is actually one of the ways that I manage my own risk, by making sure that I'm working with real professionals with skin in the game so that I can benefit from their professionalism. So they're an important advisor of mine. Trader number 6, retired software engineer, over 30 years of trading experience with the certified market technician credential. He's always interested in looking for swing systems that are robust. He's risk averse, very systematic, with deep attention to detail, as you would expect from a software engineer. He's the one that really helped us produce this particular style of modified Cornell note sheets, and he turned the entire foundations course, the advanced day trading and swing trading courses into Cornell note sheet format. So we have a great set of teaching notes in this style for all our courses. So +1 to him. That helped us summarize all of our workshops and nightly coaching sessions. He did that as an intern. And one of the things that we learned, and which he testified to during a research presentation, was how important it is to take your own notes and to have a system of modeling excellence in your note taking as a way to construct knowledge that you can internalize. So we've made those note sheets available to others for a very small price. And we only even charge a price so that you have skin in the game. It turns out if you give it away, people won't use it. But if you make them pay even a token amount, you greatly increase the probability that they will use it. And I've got him now working on instructional videos and courses for educational material. And it's been a great addition to our entire set of offerings. He does a great job of taking my sketches and turning them into beautiful models like this one. Oh, here's one. I talked about this one on the examples, the range stat, and it describes the formula, the use, and the method. And here's one where there was the harsh winter sell-off and a recovery of 1R. And then there is your range stat move. So if you give it one movement box off the low of the day, you can still get a 9-to-1 if you get a range stat move. And even if you use double that size, you could still get anywhere from 3 or 4-to-1 if you got a range stat move. So an example of the kinds of models that he's put together in our note sheets. His recorded testimony about what it was like to go through a year of interning with us was a tribute to dedicated learning. I'm just going to hit the highlights of these 5 in the interest of time. Trader 3 was a professional musician who's now a full-time professional trader. And his particular strength was he mastered the art of converting his habits of perfect practice in music. And he was able to turn that into the equivalent of perfect practice in trading, which accelerated his learning. As a musician, you wouldn't be surprised to find out that he had incredible attention to detail, that he was comfortable working on his own, and he made the most out of his alone time because he had a brand new child, and when the child was sleeping, he was able to get a lot of work done. Because he was a professional musician in public, he didn't have as much performance anxiety as others, and he is an incredible coach. And I can connect you to him if you'd be interested in his coaching offers. He does a great job helping people discover who they are and what their strengths are. Trader number 4 was, and still is, a professional money manager. And he was able to pick and choose from among the many trainings and techniques that we've shown along the way, which helped him to scale his money management business and improve his automation and process improvement. And we were able, through exploring his beliefs in story by using storytelling, he was able to come to a different personal story, and that reframing, which is what we call restoring, that reframing allowed him to break through some mental barriers and become the money manager that he wanted to be. Trader 7 was an intensive care hospice nurse. He's what I would classify as an intuitive visual trader, in that he could feel his way through trades. whereas I'm a very structured and a visual trader, rules-based. He was really keenly connected to his intuitions and emotions. And we were able to add some rules-based procedures that improved his confidence, skill, positive beliefs through coaching. And now he turns out to be an incredible coach for people that are dealing with life-changing circumstances or existential angst. I think the combination of his own growth in skills plus his experiences in emergency care nursing make him an amazing coach. And I can connect you to him if you're interested. Everybody that I've suggested here that can do coaching are people that I have personally coached, and I have taught them what I know about coaching and have observed them in practice so that I know that they are living up to professional standards. I have about 30 years of practice in doing that, in developing subordinates and other coaches. Traders 8A and 8B are actually a pair of traders that are life partners, and they're professional traders. And I almost think of them as the odd couple, because one of them, excuse me, she trades like a hunter and he trades like a gatherer. One of them is intuitive, the hunter, and one is like a technician, the gatherer. And it turns out that through coaching and collaboration, they have learned to really strengthen their teamwork and provide mutual support and cover for each other. She has gone on to become a certified hypnotherapist in the UK and has recently hung her shingle out to be able to do some professional coaching that employs some groundbreaking new therapeutic techniques and visualization techniques, which I've participated in, and I can vouch that she's the real deal. I can put you in contact with them as well. But I've been working with all of these folks on this list for minimum 10 years. Finally, trader number 10 is another pro money manager who moved from a very successful corporate tax lawyer to a full-time professional money manager. He's always been systematic and disciplined and goal-oriented and evidence-based, and we were able to leverage all of those features through his annual research weekends over the last 6 years as he built out pieces and parts of his trading systems, then strategies, his business plan, and personal vision statement, so that he could, at the end of 6 years, fully transition seamlessly into the world of professional money management. So a lot of these folks here have gone through that kind of transition to full-time professional trading, which that essay that I shared with you incorporates a lot of the lessons that they've learned about doing that. To finish up here with Griff's notes, Griff observed the path towards competence is about focusing and alignment. There's more creativity and insights when you're hungry, and when you reduce it to just a couple options, it really forces you to pay close attention and get the most out of it. You don't want too much choice. You want to have a clear, critical path towards your success. One of the things that he's learning on focus, and it really is about employing the same techniques that we use here in on this one-page note sheet, is to get all his current projects on one page. And the technique I'm coaching him towards is the use of a Kanban system, a personal Kanban system. That's a term of art from Japanese manufacturing, which reduces the amount of work in progress so that you don't flit from project to project with some false notion of multitasking, so that you can concentrate on the most important thing, get it done to standard, and then move on to the next thing. So are you doing the right things? Are you doing those things right? And a personal Kanban, which I teach, and I personally use, is a way to go after that. So what I wanted to share with you guys tonight then was this summary of 10 different traders, all of whom are trading professionally, most of whom are coaching. Some of them are still going about their business. 7 of the 10 are trading full-time and running their own business, as well as teaching and coaching. And in my view, that makes me feel very proud as a teacher that we can do that. Does everything we do work for everybody? I would say no, because not everybody's willing to do what I think of as the secret sauce. It turns out that the secret sauce is not secret at all. It's only rare. What's rare is to be able to give people the formula for success, and then they actually follow through. So I would say what unifies all of these guys is due diligence and professionalism. And it turns out that they spell due diligence as due diligence, that they take action, that they study the results, they journal, they perform math, they get coached, they have teammates, they hold themselves and each other accountable, and they do it in writing, and they treat this as a marathon, not a sprint, that they learn from each trade, they learn from the market, and they learn from their data and from each other. And that we use the principles of true storytelling, safety, trust, truth leads to opportunities. Can't predict how long it'll take, but we know what progress looks like. So that's what I want to say. I want to say that we have a bunch of courses and that we offer coaching on those courses, and that we do day trading, swing trading, position trading. We do Forex and options and equities. The coaching program is small groups that are working together on their individual projects. I do some limited one-on-one coaching if it's proprietary or you're shy. I also do a mentoring program with the Creativity 202 course, which uses true storytelling and story thinking to increase our capacity to be creative. It's what I teach Army officers and our traders. It's powerful and transformative. I consider that to be my mentoring program. It uses trading as a metaphor and has a lot of applied exercises that'll improve your trading, but it's really about the fundamental capability to be creative, to find solutions to problems and opportunities through the use of stories and trusted others. I teach a certification course in how to do true storytelling. I teach a certification course in systems thinking. I'm licensed in both of those, and I'm licensed as a coach. So all of those things are part of what we offer. In a couple weeks, I'll cover it. I may cover that in greater detail next week, just to lay out the program of action. Just want to plant some seeds and finish up with that for today. So that's everything I got for you tonight. We'll get this recording published and posted in the workshop. As a reminder, after this cycle of the workshop is over, I'll be selling this workshop as a home study course to other folks that were not wise enough to maybe take the free version. Because you've suffered through this, I'm willing to give you guys a discount coupon. If there's other people that you know that you think would benefit from this, they can take it for a deeply discounted price, 70% off. They can take it for $97 instead of the $300 that I'm going to charge the rest of the world. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and I'll send you the link. So that's everything for tonight. Thank you for your kind attention. Take good care, and let's be ready and prepared for tomorrow. Plan, prepare, execute, and assess. And I want you to be able to trade like this one. 24-hour today in Mexico and no overnight risk. So keep that one in mind. Take good care, and we'll see you next week.